I'm not an expert, so I cannot create a YouTube channel. How do I even become an expert? Calling myself an expert is so cringe-worthy. I can't do that. If you have said any of these sentences to yourself, or you've thought any of these things to yourself, today's video is tailor-made for you, because I'm going to show you why you don't necessarily need to be an expert to be credible, but how you can become an expert in the process of being credible. I'm also going to share one major secret that's holding you back from sharing your expertise with the world. So, are you ready? Hey go-getter, it's Salma Jafri from salmajafri.com, and you are in the right place if you want to grow your personal brand with video. Make sure that you are hitting that red subscribe button and clicking the bell icon so you're notified of new videos. And now let's begin. I get this comment on my YouTube channel. I'm going to read out some of the comments. The first one is, now my struggle is, how do I get credibility or the right to teach and talk about something if I don't have any affiliations, certifications, or a license to begin? Let's say I'm passionate about public speaking and being a life coach, and I truly believe I have something to share, but lack of credibility keeps holding me back since I do not have a professional reference. Where should I start? Great question. We're going to answer that in today's video. Another comment that I get, what if you don't have any credibility? Does that make you a nobody and you can't own a YouTube channel? Oh my God, no. All right, another question. I have heard that you have to be credible to rank and compete on health and wealth like a doctor or a bank. Thoughts? I will be sharing my thoughts. I often cringe when the word expert is used because I don't consider myself one. Real comments from you guys. So clearly you are thinking about this whole expert thing. Let's break it down, how to actually become an expert and why it's not something that's cringe-worthy and it's not something that's spammy or icky by calling yourself an expert. So step number one to becoming an expert, on the road to becoming an expert, is you need to become a voracious learner. Like you need to have this huge appetite for learning, because think about it. Every expert was once a beginner and everyone starts at zero, including me. I'm going to give some examples from my YouTube channel as well. So when you start, you don't know everything and you're not sure of what you do know. So I want to introduce the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset here. So when you have a fixed mindset, you think the following thoughts. I don't like to be challenged. I can either do it or I can't. My potential is predetermined. I stick to what I know. On the other hand, when you adopt a growth mindset, here's what you think. Challenges help me grow. My effort and attitude determine my abilities. I can learn to do anything I want. I like to try new things. So step number one is to have the attitude that you can learn anything and anything can be learned, because every expert needs to actually learn before they can do the next step, which is in the journey to becoming an expert, you want to become a doer and you want to share your journey. So it's not about knowing everything. The really important thing is doing. So you want to do the action part of learning, and then you want to share that learning. So in the comment that I got about public speaking, that how I don't have any credibility because I don't have a certificate, and how do I actually become a public speaker and talk about that, right? So do and then share. So what does that look like? So for example, you could actually talk about, if I want to become a public speaker, what's the first thing I need to do? How do I practice? How do I apply for gigs? Where do I even find public speaking gigs? Should I be doing public speaking for free in the beginning to build up my credentials? So all of these things you can talk about from the perspective of a beginner, then actually challenge yourself to do those things. Make a speaker sheet, for example, and then make a video talking about how you put together your speaker sheet, right? Put together a presentation and then talk about how you put together a presentation. Apply to a gig and then talk about how you applied for a speaking gig. So do and then share the journey. It's what Gary Vee calls documenting versus creating. So that is an excellent way to share what you're learning. And in the process, what happens is that you become relatable and you have authenticity. And everyone's always asking, well, how do I be more authentic in my videos, and this is how. Right? Authenticity doesn't come from a piece of paper saying that you're authentic. Authenticity comes from you sharing something that you can talk about with perspective, that because you've already done it, because you're doing it. Okay, that's where authenticity, integrity, relatability comes from. When people see that here's somebody who's speaking from experience, they feel more inclined to believe you and relate to you. So that is the benefit of trying not to be an expert, but just sharing what you're doing and being really transparent about, okay, what didn't work, what did work, what you learned during this process. So that's what you want to do. The third thing you can do on your journey is to take a course or a certification program. Now, when you're getting started, I know it can be sort of like a safety net, and I did this as well. So I got YouTube certified, then I got inbound marketing certified, just to give myself that little boost that, okay, I can take these certifications, I can pass them, I can put them on my LinkedIn profile or whatever, and I can tell people, okay, I'm certified. But my experience and my results that I get with my clients has overtaken a piece of paper. Right? So what are you going to trust more? The fact that I'm actually doing the work, that I'm actually showing clients how to build their YouTube channel, isn't that more powerful than a piece of paper that says I have some certification, right? So after a while, your experience overtakes certifications, but I get it. In the beginning, it might be good to have that certification just for that internal validation. And a couple of sites that I might recommend in my area are that you can go and get certified in is Digital Marketer Academy. You can take certifications from Udemy. You can do certifications from HubSpot. And let me know in the comments what might be some certifications you could take in your niche. The next step in our journey to becoming a credible expert is to apply our knowledge to the real world. Now, one thing that is really amazing about YouTube specifically is that when you make people feel something, that is when they feel that you're an expert, right? So when you share something and your goal is, okay, you want to make somebody feel like they can do it, they're empowered, or you want to make them laugh, or you want to make them have some kind of aha moment. So when you figure out what you want people to feel with your content and specifically with your videos, that is when people start to see you as a credible source because they feel it. It's an emotional reaction to what you're saying. And YouTube is a great place for that, especially with the with me tag, right? So when you do learn with me or cook with me or study with me or discover with me or explore this with me, you're taking people on that journey to having that experience with you, and you're sharing something and applying it in a real world perspective. So when you say that, okay, here's the theory of study with me, let's actually do it. And then you're talking about your study techniques or how you're actually studying. So you're applying that theoretical knowledge and you're transferring it to the practical real world, which is an amazing way to become credible and to become an expert. You probably know more than you think. Now, here's the thing. How do we see ourselves as an expert, right? So here's what goes into the ingredients that go into making you an expert. It's your education, it's your life experience, it's your life situation, it's your external environment, and then it's your internal environment and your personality and all the things that you grew up with genetically as well as environmentally. All of that makes you unique. So I might have a certain perspective to working online, for example. You, because of your unique perspective in life and your unique situation, will have a different perspective to working online. So we could both be talking about working online. Your perspective will make you different. My ideas and perspective will make me different. So in the journey to becoming an expert, you want to bring forth your opinions, bring forth your ideas, bring forth your perspective, which has been shaped by years of experience, life experience, real practical life experience. So you want to start thinking about the things that you have done and how they can be transferred into a shareable framework. So for example, did you deal with anxiety? Did you learn how to cook? Did you learn to play the piano, for instance? Did you declutter your house? All of these are just like simple everyday things you might be doing. But when you transfer that knowledge and think about, oh, how can I make it into a framework that I can share with other people, that's when you're taking your personality and sharing that, and people are seeing you as a credible source because it becomes relatable. And I do want to point you to this video that I made a while back, which is how to stand out and differentiate yourself in your niche. That would be a good video to watch after watching this video. Let me link it up here in the info card. And the other video that you really want to watch is how to introduce yourself as an expert on YouTube. So that I'll link to up here as well. Now let's come to the promise that I made in the beginning of this video, where I said I will share a secret to what is holding you back from sharing your expertise. And the secret is that you have a fear of two things. Number one, what will people think? And number two, you're afraid of success. And once you start to really understand how this works, you'll see that this is cloaked in your imposter syndrome, and it's holding you back from thinking you're an expert and feeling what one of my audience members said, that calling myself an expert seems so cringe-worthy. And here is why. Because you're afraid of that success, and you're afraid what people are going to say, like, look at her, who does she think she is, an expert or something? Right? That's where that fear comes from. So when I was at 0 and I was starting my YouTube channel, I had that fear as well. Like, why would people listen to me? And so I delved into, okay, what can I talk about that I have learned and that made me feel that, wow, this is an amazing thing to learn and I want to share this. And one of my first videos was on the know, like, trust factor, because that was a foundational thing that I had learned in my journey of content marketing. And I thought, wow, there's advertising and then there's content marketing, which is based on knowing, liking, and trusting a brand and then buying from them. And it was an amazing concept for me to learn. And so that became my first video. So I actually went through this process that I just shared with you. I learned something, applied it, and then made videos about it. And then again, and this happens all the time, right? So when I'm at 0 subscribers, I had the same fear. When I was at 4,000 subscribers, I was like, what the hell am I doing? I'm talking about YouTube marketing and I'm not even at 10K subs yet. Like, that was my threshold. Like, I thought that I have to be at 10K subs to be able to talk about YouTube marketing. Otherwise, I'm an imposter. But I kept at it. Like, I kept sharing what I knew. Then when I surpassed 10K subscribers, I thought, you know what? I'm competing with people at 100K. Like, who do I think I am? Like, how can I even talk about this? I feel like a fraud. And then that's when I was like, you know what? Stop it. Stop this brain chatter, right? And I realigned my thinking and I said, you know what can I talk about that I'm actually doing? So I'm actually presenting on camera, so I can talk about that. I'm actually building an online business off the back of my YouTube channel, so I can actually talk about that. So I decided to focus on the things I'm actually doing and learning and then share them. And that's how you become an expert. I feel like I need a drink of water after that. And while I'm having this, remember to go after what you want and build that brand you love, because you can be the medium. And I'll link to all the videos that I talked about in the end cards as well. Go watch them next.